Hey everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos. All right, Yass Jesus is a faith and sexuality affirming comedy podcast that believes you don't have to pick between gay and God. I'm all about it. All right, each week, actor and comedian Daniel Franzese and his former televangelist bestie Azariah Southworth put this amazing podcast on, and a new season is just about to start on the WOW Podcast Network on December 17th. How are you, Danny?
Oh, I am very excited. I feel at home with World of Wonder, and it's so nice to be back working with them again on something so near and dear to me. This is a special project, and I think it's really fun and funny and bringing a lot of good news to people who need to hear it.
Yeah, and I should mention it's the GLAAD Media Award nominated podcast, Yass Jesus. Very, very exciting. I love anything where we can kind of break down the barriers when it comes to faith, religion, and our community, because still so many people literally think that you can't be a queer person and be someone of faith. And they also think that you can't be a person of faith and support LGBTQ people. How important is it for you to kind of, change that narrative, but all with a comedic lens, of course?
I think that's the most important thing. I think that all these organized religions that say that LGBTQ people can't be a part of them are gatekeeping what they perceive to be life's most important lessons, proverbs, stories that are supposed to shape us and teach us how to live life. And then they say, because you love someone of the same gender, then you can't have any of these tales and stories and lessons. And I'm like, excuse me, our people want to see the book too. And we want to look at it and we want to wonder. And I feel like organized religion, a lot of the times, as we know it, has always gatekeeped that stuff. They said, this is what it is. Don't ask any questions. Read along or whatever. And I think that we're meant to wonder. We're curious beings, and that we live in the age of information. And I think that it's a great time to share stories. We even have big Bible stories where we get highly medicated and then break down Noah's Ark. And I think that we are not really, we're not preachers, we're not teachers, we're just sinners trying to figure some stuff out and wonder what's going on. And I think that's an important energy to have. A really great analogy that I've been loving saying lately is it's kind of like IKEA, like how there's IKEA and then there's IKEA hacking, where people take the parts and they make their own things out of it. And I said, that's what queer people have done. We've said, okay, we don't have you're not giving us the owner's manual, so we'll create a society where we live without those rules and we use what's applicable to us, but we have made our own way. We've IKEA hacked our way through a system. And now that I'm we've taken a florin and a flugen and put it together and made a vagina, I'm kind of hey, let me get the directions to the florin. I want to see what's over there. Why can't I look at that, And how could that be applicable to my siblings? Because, sadly, we lost a whole generation of folks before us to AIDS, and it's not lost on me that we were feral children growing up. And now that we have some information, I think it's important. The loudest thing I could shout from a mountaintop is that God loves you no matter who you are. And so I think, why not bring that to our queer folks?
What was, for anyone with the World of Wonder podcast network now that this is going to be a part of, you have a new audience, new potential. For anyone that hasn't, heard your podcast before, what was your relationship with religion and faith when you were a kid growing up?
My parents converted from Catholicism to Christianity, which is very scandalous in my Italian immigrant family. And so there was a riff in my family, and my parents named me Daniel because it means God is my judge. So that's what I've been told my whole life. That is what I've lived my life by. And I think that is something that has been a great anchor and a great root system for me to know that I don't have to live by anybody else's rules but God's. And so that's something that confused me as I got older, and I realized how beautiful and glorious the color spectrum is of our gender and sexuality spectrum of our LGBTQIA plus two-spirit rainbow, that I was biromantic but homosexual. Mm-hmm. And I think that little fact is the thing that really confused me into putting myself into conversion therapy. It was something that made me not realize who I was. And I think while I was there, I realized that people say, how could you go to conversion therapy and still love God? And I'm like, God's the thing that made me survive that, So I feel like God has always been something that's been strengthened for me and make me feel like I've been able to use it as God as a tool to vibrate at my highest frequency as an artist. And I just think that people should have access to it. The gatekeeping of it is the part that bothers me the most. as I got older, I started trying to find a church and find places to church, but became increasingly more frustrated by churches that were seemingly affirming, but then not really. Like, they'll let a gay couple hold hands in the front row, they'll take your pink money into the collection plate. But if you look higher up at who pays the pastor's check, a lot of time these organized religion folks, they won't let queer people rise to roles of leadership. They won't let their kids stay in the preschool. So it's not actually affirming at the end of the day. So we try to teach. I want to equip queer people who are interested in a faith journey of like these kind of tools. Like, go to churchclarity.org, find that out. If you want to know about mistranslations, we've got episodes on that too. If you love your favorite queen from Drag Race and she's had an amazing faith journey that she's talked about on the show, we're going to have them come onto the show to further that conversation so you can learn more about them. Even before we were with WOW Podcast Network, which again, I'm so excited about, we did an amazing episode with Silky Nutmeg Ganache where she talked about being the ministry of music and how her church ganged up on her when they found out that she had done drag. And then she pointed to the sign where they were raising money for construction and says, it says under construction. Doesn't that mean the entire church and all of us inside of it? And she knew everybody's tea, of course. It was Silky. So she wasn't about to call everybody out, but she was looking people right in the eye who knew she knew stuff about, that were not facing their demons and trying to come for her because she's an entertainer.
Right.
And I think that these are lessons that I think would be very freeing for a lot of people, very life affirming for a lot of people. I know that I had very doomy and gloomy unliving myself thoughts when I was younger due to this kind of an issue. And we've heard from our listeners that this is something that's helping them. And so I feel like a mission that could never stop. We have so much fun doing it. And it's Azariah is my best friend anyway. And we have these conversations anyway. And, adding the amazing Ross Murray, as you know, working at GLAAD, he's an incredible tool for GLAAD as well. On our show helps too. And then also Meredith, Polly, we get together and we make incredible conversation. And I think that that's what it's really about, is having fun conversation and not making it feel like this enigma, like this thing that people don't have access to.
And honestly, like you mentioned all about your journey, and like I think about where we are with Catholicism. It seems more recently now, I keep hearing news about the Pope being more welcoming and wanting LGBTQ people to have rights and be included, which is really something amazing that I never thought I would see. What's your reaction to that?
Look, I think as people were starting to get the information out there and they're realizing things like the mistranslations, they're getting to know people who are out and proud and living as examples of love and saying like, how could I feel that way about Edward or Robert or Sally or whoever? They're like, that person's just an example of love walking around the earth. I think they're realizing, wait a minute, this doesn't seem like a choice God would make.
Right.
It's people's siblings. And one of the things that we try to reach to in Yass Jesus too is our allies, because it's our allies that are going to help make a change in the church more than us. One of the first things we did, I think it was like our third episode seasons ago, we were talking to a hypothetical pregnant woman and saying like, well, if you're gay affirming and you're pregnant and you're Christian, yes. Well, if you're going to have a child, are you going to raise them in the church? Absolutely. Well, what if they get to be like 12 to 16 and they come to you and say, Mom, I'm a different gender, or Mom, I'm gay. I'm going to love my child no matter what. Well, what if your church says that they can't go? Then I won't go no more. Then why did you raise them there for 16 years?
Right.
Like, let's find out now how your church is, if they align with your beliefs and how you feel. And let's figure that out now and make changes now and demand to the higher ups there that they feel the same way, or you're going to leave and your money's going to leave with you, because that's really what a lot of the organized religion cares about anyway. Right. I think that when you're trying to, like, they call it vibes and everything, because it's a vibration. And anyone who understands any kind of thing like about spirituality knows that like when you can get to a place of meditation or a place of vibration with something that you consider a higher power, it's really powerful for you. It's the law of attraction, it's meditation, it's people call it all different things in all different spaces. But to tell gay people they can't have that practice, they can't learn about it and gatekeep it from them, you're throwing everyone off their axis. Like, and I just don't think that, I think that that's, there's a way to do it. We know how to do it. We already made the church gays. We made everything velvet. We put stained glasses up. We made the priest carry a burning purse and wear a robe. Like, we figured it out already. We knew how to glam up the church. That's and, right. you know, we can do it again.
And yeah, so the podcast will be available starting December 17th on the WOW Podcast Network. So exciting. Of course, we have to talk about some Mean Girls things, because you know, that ad that you did was epic. How much fun was that? It was so fun for all of us to see you all back together. So good.
We definitely were squeeing inside. It was really, really fun. I mean, I was so excited. I haven't seen Lindsay since she's been a mom, and I couldn't wait to see her and talk to her and gush about her adorable baby. And I mean, it was just a really good time to see everybody get to step into their shoes again. It was definitely fun.
I loved it. And now we have a new Mean Girls movie on the way. I mean, what was that like for you to find out about that?
I don't know. I'm really excited about who they chose as Damien, because I think Jekyll's such an amazing performer, and to see Damien now be Black, I think is really exciting because, you know, I think it opens it up to so many more people to see themselves in that character, and that has been such a gift of all the people that told me they saw themselves in my portrayal. So I'm excited to see his performance.
It lives on, and we will love it forever. Well, Daniel, so good to see you. Congrats. Just a reminder, everyone, that Yass Jesus, the new season, will begin December 17th on World of Wonder Podcast Network. That's the WOW Podcast Network. We're so excited. So yeah, best to you and happy holidays.
Thank you. You too. Take care.